Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you some questions about your experience
After the
after liberation.
uh-huh. Well,
First, I'm going to ask you your name.
yeah, my name is Celia Block. I was on the Celia Gastfreund.
Okay, and
I was single, when I was liberated. I was 19 years old, so you know.
first, let me
Uh,
ask you, what city were you born in?
I am born in Sosnowiec, Poland.
And tell me your date of birth.
My date of birth, 1925,
And what month and day?
February 25th.
Okay. Did you have, besides a mom and dad, brothers and sisters?
Oh, sure. I had two sisters and three brothers.
Did any of them survive?
Only one, my oldest brother, survived because he escaped to Russia at the beginning of the war.
And
My other brother was direct in the army, in the Polish army when the war broke out. He was in, and he, unfortunately he fell.
okay, I'm going to ask you
And
later how
we were left, myself, my two sisters, my mother and father, and a little brother, younger than me. And we lived, that was in Sosnowiec, but I was taken to the camp. I was taken off the street. They closed both sides of the street where I lived, and whoever of the young girls or boys were in the street, they took us on a truck and shipped us into, for 8 days they kept us in, it happened to be my own school. They converted it, took all the chairs and tables out and converted to bridges to lay on, and they kept us there for 8 days.
Now, I'm going to jump to, since we're not doing a study on the Holocaust,
Right.
you'll forgive me, but I'm going to jump to where were you liberated from?
I was liberated in Bergen-Belsen.
Okay, and what was the date of your
The date of liberation was April 15th, 1945.
Now,
1945, when we were liberated.
wait, I have some specific questions.
Right,
When you were liberated,
yeah.
were you, at the time of liberation, did you have a group of people that you were friendly with when you were in the camp?
Well, we were brought into the camp already late.
But my question is,
Right, and I was with that group from my camp.
were
From
there
my working camp to Bergen-Belsen, I was with the same group of people that I was 4 years in the other camp.
and were any of those people who you would call special friends?
Well, one, I had a special friend that I kept close,
And what was his or her name?
Her name was Sally Bernstein.
And
But after that, after we were liberated, we were all separated. We did not get in touch with each other because everybody was differently situated, Some of them were sick right away. Some of them got sick some of them were sick already towards the end of the war with typhus. And some of them got sick when they took us from this camp, the dirty camp, already the liberated camp, into a clean one.
now, what are you calling are you calling Bergen-Belsen
Bergen-Belsen.
the dirty camp?
It was with lice. We were all covered with lice.
Okay.
And that brought the
And
typhus.
what is the clean camp?
The clean camp was also in Bergen-Belsen, but they were taking us from this quarters that the concentration camp was to a free camp, you know, that the English people provided for us.
Okay, so the new
So-
Bergen-Belsen
Yeah,
was the Jewish DP camp?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Describe it to me.
Well, I cannot describe to you very well because when they took me, first they took us into a shower to undress all that dirty stuff, you know, and we supposed to, from the shower, we supposed to get in to a room which they gave us new clothing,
Right.
and they supposed to ship us to that camp, the new camp that the English people provided for us, which was a also called a DP camp, but the German army used to have their station there, their soldiers, but there were no German soldiers no more. And I happened under the shower, when they took me into the shower, I was already sick, but I didn't know, I didn't feel it yet. But under the shower, I fell, and I fell with high temperature. And they came in, I don't remember that, but the girls told me, two sanitariuses, you know, from the army, came in all dressed with a certain uniform from head to toe, and they carried me out straight to the hospital. So I couldn't describe you the camp, you know. There were barracks, I know, because
Well, but
I was-
let's go with what happened to you.
I was in the hospital with very, very bad stomach typhus. That some girls had typhus, and they were like went crazy. So I was lucky that I had this stomach typhus. But they kept me from April till July. I was in the hospital.
Do you know which hospital?
I have no idea. It's an English. It was a hospital from the Germans, but then the English people took over the hospital,
Okay.
and I was taken care by the English doctors already.
Now, were any Jewish people visiting you, or any Jewish organizations?
No,
You
not
were
in
by
the-
yourself?
Not in the hospital. Absolutely
Okay.
nobody came. No.
So you were liberated and went right away into the
right
hospital.
away because I got sick.
And
I
you
was
did-
prob-
So you didn't go back to
I
Bergen-Belsen?
did no, not to that,
Not- oh.
not to the Bergen-Belsen camp.
But
But
you
I
didn't,
was in Bergen-Belsen
the
after
Jewish
the
DP?
hospital. Then I went
Okay.
to that camp.
Okay.
There was taken care. It was not a Jewish organization. I don't know who took it. I guess we had some kind of rations that they gave us. I really don't know, don't remember
Well,
whether it
I'm
was
go-
the English or
I'm gonna ask you a series of questions.
yeah.
The camp, was it run by the survivors?
Yeah, yeah. It was already, when I came into that camp, I came in July. So that was from April to July. The camp was already organized with blocks of people that lived in rooms, a group of people that girls, 3 girls, 4 girls got rooms and lived in. And there was already by a Jewish themselves had like a committee, and there was already police and I guess
Okay.
yeah.
So it was, and food was, to the best of your
We
knowledge,
got,
the food was given
best
out?
of my knowledge, we had some kind of rations, but when you come out from typhus and you survive,
Right.
after that you are so hungry that nothing, whatever
Satisfies
you had,
you.
it's not enough.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you a question. When is to the best of your memory, you were, when is the first time Now, I'm not talking about, I know when you were liberated.
Yeah.
When is the first time you felt free?
Well, the first time we felt free.
You felt free, not,
No. I felt free when I got better from the typhus. Until then, I didn't know whether I'm free or not. Then, after I came, they brought me already, they released me from the hospital. I started looking for people that I know, for family, if I could get somebody, because Bergen-Belsen was very big, and a lot of people were brought in to Bergen-Belsen from all sides of Europe. So then
you-
I started looking for somebody, and I found one of my cousins, Anset, which I didn't even know him because they lived in a different town, and I was too young to know him. He was older than me. I didn't know him, but when he answered my calls that I'm looking for somebody, I registered in the committee, in the Jewish committee on the paper. So he saw the name, he came looking for me. And when he came looking for me, he said, I have another cousin here, which I knew, a woman. He was a man. And this was a lady that she lived in our town, and this cousin I knew because she was coming to our house every Saturday. She was in our house. Oh, so I got so happy, and that I found her, that I'm going to be attached to somebody. And he really said, you need nourishment, because I don't live anymore in Bergen-Belsen. I live in a town. I don't even remember what town. If you come with me, the women that we lived by is a German woman, and she will take you under her wings and nourish you, give you the nourishments that you need for after the typhus. And I went. I was there a week, and I was lonely. He lived upstairs with a bunch of fellows. I didn't know anybody, and I really didn't know him so well either. It's just that he told me who he is. But after a week, I said, no, I'm not going to stay here. I better go and be with I'm going to look for people that I knew from camp. And I went back
to Bergen-Belsen.
Bergen-Belsen, and I went already to the camp, and I found two girls that I knew from my camp in the working camp. So they took me in. They had a room with two, and they took my cousin in, my women cousin, and they took both of us into that room, and we stayed there till. That was July, August, September, came somebody to the committee and looking for family. And he saw my name. He was coming looking for his wife's a niece, really. He didn't know that we are there, that I'm there, and my cousin, which was his cousin too. And when he came and he saw my name, he knew us because he lived with us in the same town, and I knew him too. So he came looking for me. And
Cool, go ahead.
he came looking for me, and he says, you're not staying here because I'm married, I live in Munich,
Yeah,
and I have an apartment in Feldafing, and there is a DP camp. In Munich, he lived private. So he said to me, you're better off if I take you to the DP camp in Feldafing, which is all young people, survivors. And he took us, me and my
Now-
cousin.
what year is this?
That was also 45, still 45 in September,
So you were in Bergen-Belsen only
till a short
a
time.
short time. Before we leave to go to Feldafing,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you some more questions. You can finish this story, but then I want to ask you some more questions.
That's it. And took us both, my cousin and me. He took us with him. He found the niece of his wife.
Okay, let me backtrack on Bergen-Belsen. Did you do any socializing in Bergen-Belsen?
No, I was still very, very weak. No, from typhus. No.
Do you remember, you told me a little bit about the friendships.
Yeah.
You told me a little bit about the food.
Mhm.
Do you remember if going to any high holiday services or
No.
whether they existed?
First of all, there were no high holidays because the high holidays, let's say, I was already in Veldafing.
Okay, so it wasn't the right time.
No.
But Bergen-Belsen was a big. Do you remember if there was? Now I'm asking you about your memory. You may not have gone. Were there? Do you recall there being a lot of marriages happening, couples getting together?
Maybe later after I left, but till I left, I don't think so.
So
I didn't hear anything.
So you were really only there July.
I was
And
there
August.
July and August, yeah. In September he came, my cousin from Munich.
Okay, so in July and August,
I really didn't know anything about
too much about? Do you remember anything about the work? You do remember policemen.
Yeah, work. We didn't work.
All right, so maybe not too.
We didn't work that time. Maybe later on when I left, maybe there was work for people. But
So no real other memories.
no, because I was very weak when I came out from the hospital, and I didn't even. We were just. I remember just sitting by the window and looking out. That's all.
Okay, so your cousin took you. How did you?
Well, there's another thing. I was always at the window, because I really didn't have no strength to walk around and all that. The girls were going already to dances. They were socializing already, but I couldn't because I was very weak. And my cousin was always sitting with me. And one time a English soldier passed by. And I remembered that we had some family in England. My father had a sister there, and married and with children, but I wasn't exactly remembering everything. So I asked him whether he will understand me if I speak a little German. He says, yeah, he understands. So I said to him, I know that my parents had family in London, and I just remembered West End Street, no number, no nothing, but I remember the name, and I gave it to him, and he said he's gonna look into it. And it took about 2 weeks later, I got a letter from my aunt. He got in touch with them, and they really wanted I should come to them in England. But that time, England was very strict of immigration. So they wrote me that they could take me as a domestic worker. And I got shriveled away. I says, I'm sure? I wrote to my aunt back, no, I am not a domestic worker. I don't want to go to work by somebody. But I didn't understand. She couldn't write to me. That is only officially what she writes, but it's not going to be like that. But she couldn't explain it in the letters because she was afraid that. So I passed up that thing that I didn't go to England because of when she wrote domestic work. I said, my God, I didn't get liberated to go be cleaning houses.
Now, okay, let's pick up on that. It's 1945. You had just come from
Yeah, that
out of
was
Hitler,
right.
and you have a letter, and you don't want to, you knew enough to feel you don't want to be a domestic
No,
worker.
because
So that tells me you wanted more for yourself.
of course. I says
So
no,
when
I
I asked
don't.
you the question, when did you feel free? You said right after you felt better.
Yeah.
How, you also wanted more for yourself.
Yes. Yes.
When did you know that you also wanted more for yourself, and how did you know that?
Even even when we were in camp and we were sitting girls and talking, we also dreamed to have a better life what we had before. Even the life was good, but we always talked about that we will better ourselves.
You mean that you wanted to survive and better yourself?
Yeah, we were asking God that we should be freed, we should survive and better ourselves. Always to look ahead, not to look back.
What do you think gave you that strength?
What
What do you think gave you that courage or strength or ability?
we had to have it, otherwise you would shriveled up and died in
Do
the
you-
camp. You had to have something to hold on to. We're gonna make it, we're gonna survive, whatever it's gonna be, we will try to survive, and even if we worked, we always to say to ourselves, we're gonna be working good because we don't want it, they should hit us, we don't want they should be mad at us, we just wanna do anything what they say and do it good.
Do you think that part of that is because you had a group of people?
Yes, yes, we were always, Sunday we didn't work in the camp, in our camp, not in the concentration camp.
Yes.
I was in a working camp. And Sunday afternoon we were always sitting, every girl had, we were 20 girls in a room. And we was afternoon, it was nice, so we were reminiscent, what was at home. And we were dreaming, what would we like to be if we liberated, if it's possible, where we're gonna go, whether we're gonna go home, whether we're gonna stay in other places, The first dream was looking for family, looking to go home and looking to a family. But this wasn't possible because they were just taking us, they knew that they are already in very big trouble, that the Russians are on their neck. Our camp was near Berlin, not far from Berlin. So they evacuated us.
But I want to focus on your thoughts, not them, not the Nazis.
No.
Your thoughts were, my
thoughts
question is, did you get strength from each other?
Yeah, my thought was to get home, to meet everybody, hopefully everybody's alive, and
Okay.
they survived, and to start a life.
Okay, and starting a life would mean what? A husband? Or finding family?
No, find the family, I didn't think about a husband.
Okay. So let's now go back to, it was a uncle who found you?
Yeah, a
Okay.
cousin.
So the uncle comes to Bergen-Belsen. Let's
Right,
start
and
again.
He took us, he says, no, I'm not gonna leave you in Bergen-Belsen. You're alone, you're coming with me, I'm married, and we take care of you.
Okay. So what is he picks you up in a car?
No, we went on a train.
Okay.
On a coals, it's not even, it was a train, but it was with materials in it, not a passenger train.
Okay.
And we were sitting, everybody, whoever had a chance to get on that train, So until the stop was in Feldafing, in Munich.
Okay. Now, did he come get you, or you went by yourselves?
No, he came get us. He come and get us. You know.
Okay, and
And then he took me to a feld, I think. He says, me and his wife's niece. He says, München is private, so you're not going to have anybody to meet. Feld, I think, is a DP camp. All the girls and all the boys are there.
Okay, so tell me what happened. You walked into Feldafing with
I
him?
came to Feldafing and we went to the committee. You had to already register, you know.
So take me through
Was already a committee where they had police, Jewish police.
Tell me everything. Okay.
And we went to the, what was called? I forgot what it was called. Well, the office of registry. Well, you have to change it.
No, you can keep talking.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
And we registered and they gave us both, they assigned us 2 rooms where to live. And the rooms were, a lot of girls were living there. You know, we didn't even get to know the girls because most of the time we were staying at my cousin's house. We only came to sleep
Yeah.
in the rooms that they assigned that to.
Now, let me just back off. Let me just ask a question. You went to the committee,
Yeah,
you registered your name,
right.
and they assigned
They
you a
assigned
bedroom.
To live, a room.
Okay.
And there were. in
You
this
shared a room with how many
A
people?
lot of girls. I don't even know. It was just beds, you know. A lot of girls. I don't remember.
Could be 8, could be 20.
No, more, about 10, 12 girls.
10,
more.
12 girls in a room.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you know the girls that
No,
were in this room?
no.
No, did you get to know them?
No, because we didn't stay there. We just came to sleep. Me and my cousin's wife's niece. We just came there to sleep at night. And in the morning we got dressed and we went to my cousin's house. He had a villa. He lived in a villa because he was married, you know. He was married before the war. And he found his wife. So they were married. We stayed with them a whole day.
So for the whole time you were at Feldafing, you didn't participate in the camp?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we did.
Oh, okay.
Then we went to all the functions that they had.
All right, so let's start
But I went already with my friend, with my niece's, my cousin's wife's niece. I went with her already all over. We went to functions. We met boys. We were dancing.
Is that in Feldafing?
In Feldafing. Yeah.
Okay.
That time were already married couples in Feldafing, that they married after the war.
Okay. Well, let's take one thing at a time. Let's talk about the social life in Feldafing. Tell me what you remember. Was there a central place in
Sure.
Feldafing where
sure.
young people got together?
Yes, definitely. It was a central place.
So,
And they were performing. There was already a theater to go to.
and dances?
Dances. The theater was already established from survivors. They were going already a whole actors and singers and performers went already from one town to the other to perform for the survivors, and they themselves were survivors.
So how, was it a once a week or was it every night you could socialize?
No, every night there were movies in that theater if you want to go, but shows were like every week.
So it was busy.
Yeah, it was okay. That time was already, I was fine, and we had a good life.
Now let me continue with some questions. Young people did you see young people start to hook up into couples?
Right. There were already a lot of marriages.
So let's talk about the marriages. Did you attend any weddings?
No, I didn't. No.
Did,
I didn't attend any weddings because I didn't know anybody. We were like keeping to ourselves
so,
and going together with my friend, you know, and
now this is 1945 still.
that's still 45.
Now you were in Feldafing till 1949.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole 4 years you never attended?
No.
Okay. My question is, during the
No.
4 years you were
Mine-
there,
That was the first year that we